Okay, so the first thing you're doing is stretching. You're opening and expanding the joints. The second thing you're doing is tuning that stretch to the frequency of effect. Healing, floating, bouncing, martial, radiant, healthy power, whatever you want. And you adjust your stretch to generate that, and the mental qualities to generate that. So we have stretch, energy, they blend together into the idea. Now the relaxation comes next, because that's an amplifier of the conduction of the energy in your body, and it opens your partner's matrices and sends the energy in. The last, mental space. You extend the mental space out. Once you have that tuned with a partner for that effect to work, then your standing practice is out of effect. So let's say you're a hypnotherapist. Your body stretch is going to be a very gentle Schumann resonance magnetic stretch in your body. Your fascia and your voice cords are going to tune into the Schumann resonance so that as you relax your voice, the people who are listening to it, their brainwave patterns start to get softer and softer and softer. So you're tuning your voice cords to something that pulls the brainwave patterns down and creates relaxation, empties the matrices out. You have the idea, I want to put this person in trance for a hypnotherapy session. The personality of what you're doing emanates through that, and then you expand your space on the frequency of the Schumann resonance, and you run it through all the bodies and through the person receiving it, and now you've got it. Then when you do your meditation practice, you do exactly the same thing as inducing trance within your patients. So that's an intrinsic energy, and you design it from the correct stretch, the correct relaxation, the correct energy, apply the personality, regulate the space, and regulate the frequencies together to generate an energetic field of whatever you want it to do. So these very simple rules, they're kind of common sense. You know, what energy do you give to your baby? Love. It's magnetic, it's caring, it's protection. All that information goes into a hug. When you hug a baby, when you hug your best friend, when you haven't seen them for a while, it's open the heart, welcome them back into your life. And the feeling is different. There's a raising frequency. It's not a protection frequency. It is an intrinsic energy of sorts. We express these energies in daily life continuously, with every interaction, with every person in some way, and you can create more powerful interactions if you choose. A martial interaction is where someone bounces, and where just happens to be people put a lot of attention on this martial thing of internal power in martial arts. That's just another intrinsic energy that you'll use when you train. But in daily life, you can create a multitude of different effects in your interactions with people. Okay, so stretch is number one. Make sure you write it down. Tune the stretch to energy is number two. And then tune the stretch and energy to the effect you want. Number three. Add sung, relaxation, into that tuning, and then open your space, open your mental space. If you don't radiate through the person, you don't affect them. If it's here and you're sunging inside you, no one outside you gets affected. If you're relaxing out, then wherever your mind relaxes to, their matrix is open, energy goes through and they get affected. So this principle needs to be written down on a big poster, stuck on the wall in your bedroom or your lounge, and you look at it every day and you apply it until it's natural. That you understand how your mind interacts with the environment and what karma are you generating through that interaction. How are you affecting people you come into contact with energetically? And that's your karma. That's your base of your energetic system. All right, so that's your fire element training. That's your basics for fire element. Now, air element is very, very similar, except the intention is up. And the tension is out, and the intention is openness. Well, fire element, it's more of a electric repelling power or a transformational power in alchemy, where two magnets repel each other. That's your normal fire element, it's a repelling force. And your air element is rising force, where you float your partner. Now, fire and air are very, very closely related. So to get air element, you do it from fire element. So this exercise, we do the same energy that we just did with the fire, just stretching out under our partner, but we make the relaxation relax and rise. We want their mind to rise, their balance to rise, their feeling to rise, for you to rise and float. There's a quality of floating that's put into the original energy of fire element. Fire generates all the elements. Original fire creates magnetism, electric and magnetic interact, creates air element. They condense, creates earth element. So everything comes from fire. So this first energy of fire, you could train that and get good at all the other ones just by tuning them in from one exercise, if you chose. So this exercise, where's my training partner? Here he is. We do exactly the same as before. Our partner puts a force into a body of some type. We touch and go under, we get the repelling force. Remember, we're only doing this on the upper circle. Our legs are free to do whatever we want. If you ground too early, you end up with bad kung fu and low chi. You ground later in practice. If it's the first thing you do, your mind will contract, you never find chi. So we want all this floating, and this is energy here. Now I've got the energy. Now I just want to walk and rise and expand that energy around. Now let's say my mind gets withdrawn while I'm doing this, and my mind collapses, and I go into myself. Oh, he's heavy. I can't move him. He's actually stronger than me. But as soon as I'm there, and now my mind is open, he's light. The energy is doing the work. And the feeder, you can clasp like this and just bridge forward, and then that gives me a nice clean line to go under. Avoid leaning on your partner with dead weight. Just stay upright and give them active elastic stretch in your body. And that reaction will amplify the effect in your training partner. And what you have to guard against is a type of behavioral conditioning with this stuff. Because the optimal condition for him to elicit an air element magnetic effect, where it's a repelling force that goes up to, say, electric effect, once he's done it a few dozen times, the unconscious mind starts responding. You put a little bit of electric and rise, and they float and go, wow, I've got a lot of power. So everything you do with your training partner is not real. It's an act. You think it's real. Your unconscious goes, oh, I have to respond like this when he does that. It's real when you go to the MMA gym and you touch someone and it works. Oh, it's real. Because of behavioral conditioning. It doesn't take away from the fact that the energetics, there is real energy there, but because they expect that energy to respond inside them in a certain way, they unconsciously react and respond that way. So if you want to keep it real, you have training partners for cultivating energy, and you have an MMA gym to keep yourself in reality. And you go and wrestle with people, go to a judo club, and float them, and make it work athletically. And then your skill goes up in real. 99% of people who are good at Tai Chi bouncing type stuff can't fight. And almost everyone that can was a really good fighter before they learnt any of this. And their good fighting skill got internalized. Now they're a great fighter. But if you can't fight before you engage in this, this isn't going to make you a good fighter. Internal energy, it amplifies what's there. If you suck, you're going to suck more. If you're good, you're going to be great. It just amplifies your personality, your skill, and it brings everything out that exists within you. And you can see it across the martial arts world. You have a geeky person, never had a fight in their life, they learn the internals, they're a super geek. They're just awkward and their energy amplifies because that's who and what they are. They haven't actually done martial arts training. So it's super important that don't delude yourself into thinking, oh, I can bounce a person, I can fight. It doesn't work like that. If you can fight and you can bounce a person, you can fight really well. You need that sequence of learning. Real martial training, yeah.
If you want to use martial, you should always start with an external arm.
Better, yes. Better. An MMA gym does striking, does wrestling, does BJJ, does cardio and strength and conditioning. So it covers all the bases as a foundation. You add the internals into it. You're immune to what the group consciousness is doing, then you specialize. The only art I've ever really looked at and went, wow, I would really love to do that is Systema. Every time I get a Systema teacher coming through, it goes, wow, this guy picked it up instantly. You know, the system's built for internals. So it works really well with all these internal principles. And, you know, you see 70-year-olds doing Systema intensely. So it's an art you can do your whole life. That's one of the few that, wow, in hindsight, I wish I did more of that. As a foundation, MMA. It's from the fighting perspective. Okay, so this exercise, stretch through your partner. And if your mental space is small, he's going to be heavy. If your mental space is big, he's going to be light. And just walk your partner. If your partner starts to get heavy, let him be heavy. And then pick him up again. If he projects heaviness forward, then just move him out of the way and then keep stretching. And for the feeder, keep active tension, because that's what is going to react energetically. And that is also what is going to make people behaviorally conditioned to fly across the room. So guard against behavioral conditioning, and know if I feed you and you stretch through me and I put my body weight up and drive my body weight through him, I'm putting it straight on his feet, by the way. I'm not putting it here on his hands. I'm going there. And my weight lifts up, shoots down, activates his fascia. I'm making him a trampoline, and I'm jumping on his trampoline. So I'm stretching his fascia. Now, the next exercise after walking is while you're walking with your partner, you just, a little bit of a shunt. You just drop your body weight a bit more, let the elasticity shoot out. And I've taught this to Kung Fu students with no Qigong. They get far jin accidentally. They just go, oh, wow, how does this work? Just relax more, and the jin starts happening without any internal energy awareness. Okay, I'm running out of breath. Partner up and have a play. Thank you.